Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very exciting video because for the most part we have some amazing Nintendo Switch 2 news. It's the news that you want to hear. It's the news that we can get excited for. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about some amazing news as well as some updates and potential leaks, all that good stuff. Let's go and get right into this video. So you know how there's like different kinds of YouTube? There's like gaming YouTube and sports YouTube and anime YouTube. Some way, somehow, I stumbled across philosophy YouTube, and that's all I've been watching for like the past 48 hours. And I feel like I'm MK Ultraing myself, like brainwashing myself. I'm like, whoa, that does make sense. Whoa, I never thought about it that way. And it is crazy, man. I feel like I'm at the tip of the iceberg, but I'm about to dive deep. So it is good to be making this video so I can pull myself out of that hole and talk about some great Nintendo Switch 2 news, updates, rumors, leaks, all that stuff, as well as clarifying something that's going on that actually is a pretty big problem. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram so we can keep our communities growing. And if you want to really support, consider becoming a channel member because it's the ultimate way to support. And let's go ahead and get right into this video. So quickly, let's talk about that Nintendo Direct that is coming up. We have seen this leak out and be confirmed or like corroborated by pretty big gaming insiders and publications and all that good stuff. So I am thinking that this Nintendo Direct that is allegedly coming on September 12th, that's a few days before the Mario 40th anniversary. All signs are pointing towards it being the Mario 40th Anniversary Direct. The same person who is leaking the exact date, which is Switchforce, they are saying that it is the big one, the General Direct. And that is very exciting, but also like confusing. Now, what I think could happen, right? Since this Direct is on a Friday, which is strange in itself, I have this theory that this is going to be a huge Direct that is like that General Direct, and then the last 15 or 20 minutes will be reserved for the Mario 40th anniversary. This is just, what I'm thinking, but yeah, it's interesting that this is going to be a General Direct, or at least that's what it's being labeled ahead of time, and not the Mario 40th anniversary one. Now, what are some games we are going to see in that Direct? Well, we might have some answers for that. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone right here. One thing that my channel members do is are able to help me make videos by giving me information or just kind of like being my eyes and ears on the internet. And I have a channel member in Norway, and I don't know what time it is over there, but they just sent me some very exciting information. So if they send me the link, by the time I'm editing this video, I'll put it on the screen. But as of right now, I just have my Instagram messages. They sent me a picture, but it wouldn't let me screenshot it. But from a Norwegian store, somewhere that they shop from all the time, they're actually seeing Dusk Bloods on that store available for pre-order, I think. And it's actually showing a release date. And that release date is March 31st, 2026. So one of two things. This is the actual release date. Or this is a placeholder. Probably the latter, but I will say this is the first time we've seen any information pertaining to any kind of a release date for this game, and we haven't heard much about this game really at all since its initial reveal. So we'll probably see something about this game in that next Nintendo Direct. Now, another game that is rumored to be getting a official Switch 2 version. So not a Switch 2 upgrade, but a Switch 2 version which would have extra content, essentially DLC, better graphics, all that good stuff. That is for Pikmin 4. Nash Weedle said this, and we're actually going to talk about a bunch of stuff that Nash Weedle's been talking about later in this video. But I just found this patent for what I think is new features for Pikmin. So as you can see, this is published August 26th, which is the date I'm recording this video. And when you go in here, it's like, what game is that? What game could that possibly be? Yeah, this is 100% a Pikmin game, and that is cool. I think Pikmin is very underrated. Even though Pikmin 4 is the best and biggest Pikmin game so far, the game is still extremely, extremely underrated. And I don't know how you get Pikmin to the mainstream. I don't understand how you do that. Maybe it's I don't want to say doomed, but maybe it's going to be a niche series forever. And that is unfortunate. You know what they could do besides better performance and graphics, all that good stuff, and then some extra DLC? They could do like mouse mode or mouse controls, which I think would be so freaking cool, and I think it would just work perfectly, as well as maybe some kind of mouse controls multiplayer mode with some mini games or something. I mean, the possibilities are endless, so this is something I really hope we see happen. I just think Pikmin is so neat. Now it is time to go over a bunch of information. These are rumors, these are leaks, these are insights, and this came from Nash Weedle and Attack the Backlog, their recent podcast, and yeah, I mean, I just think everything they're saying is legit here, but you can be the judge of that. But check this out. DLSS implementation for Switch 2 games will begin to show up more next year because the dev kits received a DLSS update just this year in March. Kind of telling right there. Day 4 Night Studios, David Solani and Mario and Rabbids Sky's new studios has met with Nintendo. Maybe we get a new Mario and Rabbids game. That would be phenomenal. Beginning in January, a marketing campaign will kick off with multiple dates related to Legend of Zelda projects. He does not know what the campaign is about, but he was told it will last all year with Zelda announcements dropping throughout, which I believe next year is Zelda's 40th anniversary. Maybe that's the time that we will get Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, I think that's what it's called. I always forget. Yeah, I feel like that's a January game for some reason. Nintendo is planning on returning to the horror genre, Luigi's Mansion not included. Maybe some more Famicom Detective Club games, that would be really cool. Elden Ring Carnage Edition and Final Fantasy VII Remake dates will also be featured in this next direct. That is very exciting. There's a possibility of the Mario 40th Anniversary Direct being next week, but he isn't certain. Oh, I accidentally skipped over this. The next General Direct will be the second week of September, as other sources have stated. It will have the release date for Metroid Prime 4, but also announce a Metroid Prime 4 Direct coming later. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment will also get its release date. Cool. And he's heard nothing about Animal Crossing. His previous rumor was that it was a 2026 game, and I've heard some really cool stuff about that, like you'll be going through all these different cities and have cars and planes, I think. Man, it's got to be better than the previous one. I like Animal Crossing New Horizons, but I still think the GameCube version is the best version of Animal Crossing. Doom the Dark Ages is coming, surprising nobody. He believes that Wii Nintendo Switch Online is closer than DS Nintendo Switch Online. So a lot of stuff in here, and to be honest, none of this sounds crazy. So the main points that we're hearing. Again, somebody saying about that Direct happening in 2 weeks, the General Direct, Metroid Prime 4 and Hyrule Warriors both getting release dates. That's awesome. I think we're in for some treats, but to be honest, I think a lot of the stuff that we care about is going to be closer to the end of the year or beginning of next year, especially with this whole dev kit situation going on, and that's what I want to talk about now. So over the past week, we've been hearing more updates about this whole dev kit situation, whether that be from Digital Foundry talking to developers at Gamescom. I think Nate the Hate was also saying something about dev kits, and now in my opinion, we're hearing something that's even crazier. So what's being reported is Nintendo is telling would-be Switch 2 devs to release on the Switch instead. So it's like, hey, we want a Switch 2 dev kit, and they're like, just release on the Switch. And the reason why I'm hearing that they're saying that is if your game is not using game chat or mouse controls or the camera, essentially things that are exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2, they're basically saying, if you're not using any of that stuff, just release it on the Switch, and then you have backwards compatibility with the Switch 2, and then they'll play it over there as well. Is not better performance and like frame rates and graphics, like, is that not reason in itself? And then you would say, well, maybe that's not true. Buddy, I have evidence of this 100%. It's just one piece of evidence, and that's all you need. If I brought this evidence to trial, it's essentially like, basically, if the glove does not fit, you must acquit. That's how strong this piece of evidence is. It is that stupid ass campfire game that got like a whole 3-minute segment in a official Nintendo Direct. And the whole point about that game was the camera. That was enough for Nintendo to say, hey, you're using the Switch 2 the way we want it to be used. Here's a dev kit. Do you know anybody who bought that game? Was the game paid for? Was it free to play? I don't even know. That doesn't even make sense. That's like a game that would come out like the beginning of the pandemic or something. So I just think this is really stupid. I think Nintendo is shooting themselves in the foot here. And I don't know how you could defend this practice. You know what I mean? So I'm hearing that dev kits are slowly going out, but it seems like if you're not using one of these goofy ass features, or you're not one of these like companies that Nintendo works with, like neck and neck, Square Enix and Bandai Namco, and I'm forgetting a few of them, but if you're not one of those developers, or you're not using any of these dumbass gimmicks, and that's what they are, let's just be real here, Nintendo's being goofy about these dev kits. So this is a little more insight into why this is happening, and I think a lot of those games that we're expecting to get, or we're wondering where they're at, it's going to be like 2026 at the earliest that they show up. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most. So in the comments below, I would love to hear from you guys. For the most part, this video was all about amazing and exciting news. But yeah, Nintendo and those dev kits, man, what the hell is going on there? So yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking. If you made it all the way to this part of the video, do me a favor, hit a like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. That takes like a click of a button, and it means the world. If you would really like to support this community, consider becoming a channel member. That would be amazing. And remember, I give away eShop gift cards every single Saturday. I do random Switch 2 giveaways for like the biggest supporters. And you guys know me. I'll see you very soon with a new video. Peace out.